a great addition, and he's going to be very productive. And one of the reasons why I am is because of Sean McVay. You got to understand how coaches like that think. When they're a play caller, they have a vision of how they're going to use a piece when it gets in their possession. That's Sean McVay. There's no way in my mind where I can fathom Sean McVay getting Davante Adams and he's not going to get him the ball and put him in advantageous situations. Like, you get a piece like that, he's always been a 8, 9, 10 target guy.
Yeah.
You can't allow him to then go to a 2, 3, 4 target guy. Now, you might ask him to do a little bit more. You might ask him to go and block or edge here and there.
Is he going to do that?
I think he's going to have to, because their offense is such where they want to be able to disguise things and have everybody kind of mix and match. You can't just have Puka being the only one, Puka Nacua being the only one doing those types of things. But the Davante Adams, his level of production, his ability to stay healthy, he's been healthy the majority of his career. Like, he is going to always put up numbers. And if he's given the opportunity and a brain at the play calling position like Sean McVay, he's definitely going to thrive.
Yeah, look, I think the blocking and all that's going to be interesting to see how he does that. But he's the number 2, right?
So I don't look at it like that. I really don't, because there are some offenses where you would clearly say, yes, you're number 2. In an offense with Sean McVay and Puka Nacua, if they're both putting up numbers,
it's just going to be 1 and 1A.
Exactly. It's going to be, okay, right, who has the matchup?
But that's my point. He's got another guy that whoever's the one, I don't know. I'm just saying, you got another guy that's going to draw a lot of attention, a guy that at times will draw that top corner, so it won't be on Davante. Yes. This is his best quarterback, obviously, since he left Rodgers a few years ago in Green Bay. So I do. And with everything you said about McVay, knowing how to use him and maximize him, I do expect Davante to have a big impact. And, Nick, I mean, I know you love the Rams. Like, they were close last year. Yeah. So now if Davante Adams does something. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
No.
They're the only team that gave the Eagles a game in the playoffs. It still feels like that the Chiefs would be the 3-time defending Super Bowl champs if they had one more play by the Rams. I think the Rams would have made the Super Bowl, and I know maybe the Rams would have won. I think the Chiefs would beat the Rams. But regardless, like, my point is, I would have really liked the Rams against the Commanders with respect to the Commanders, and I love. I'm not the first person to make this point. Receiving cores that make sense, where the guys are different body types and different stylistically, and that is exactly what this is. It is a little awkward in this regard. Cooper Kupp, yes, he won the Triple Crown a few years ago and was Super Bowl MVP. He also was one of the best blocking receivers in the league, and it's one of the reasons, sadly, he broke down the way he did. Was that is a difficult way to play, and so you're not going to get that from Davante.
No.
You hope to just get some effort out on the edge blocking from him. But I really like what the Rams have done. The Rams went all those years without first-round picks and then hit on their late picks. And then once they had their first-round picks, seemed, in my opinion, to really hit on those. They rebuilt the defensive line. Aaron Donald walks away. The defensive line's fine by the end of the year. I was asked over the weekend who I thought had the best offseason. And my answer was the Rams, in large part because they avoided disaster by keeping Stafford. That was the biggest addition of the offseason, was them not losing Stafford. But I also like the other things that they've done. They kept their tackle Jackson, bringing in Davante for a good price. And I thought that Davante-Rodgers connection made me more bullish on Davante than it did Aaron. It looked to me like Davante was closer to vintage himself, not the same, but if he's 80% of what he once was, that's closer than what Aaron was. So I just like this a lot, and I'm also a big believer that we might look at that as the worst division in the league. Like, Arizona, I don't know that they have it together on the defensive side of the ball at all. We haven't seen Kyler play a full season of high-level football once, like we're all 17 games. Seattle, I think, got worse moving on from Geno. And the Rams, and the Niners, I don't think the Niners are going to be worse than last year, but I don't think they are all of a sudden going to be back to contender status. So I think they are really, really well positioned. I like.
Yeah. No, I mean, the Rams are, clearly worthy to be the front runner, especially in that division at this point. And I think, adding Davante Adams was obviously a great move. And it's funny to even see this question. Believe Adams is still a difference maker. And yeah, absolutely. And I think Greg Jennings said it best. All of this is because of Sean McVay and understanding who you're bringing onto your team, right? What you're going to get out of Davante, what you're expecting to get out of him, what you're hoping to get out of him, what other things you believe that you can add that you may have not necessarily previously seen before. I mean, just think of the success that he's had over the years in really mixed bag situations, right? Especially with the Raiders and then even with the Jets and Aaron, like he over the last few years, he's had such a large degree of inconsistency with coaching, quarterback play, coaching and quarterback play. Like it's just been a mess, quite frankly. And yet he's still been able to, put in work, to, put up numbers, to have success. And for the most part, it's real success, right? It's not like, yeah, he's really not that good, but of course, when you're being blown out by, 3 touchdowns, you're going to get a garbage touchdown in the fourth quarter. It's like, it's not even necessarily that. And also, he wants to compete. Like, that's the other aspect, is that he wants to compete. He wants to win. He wants to play. He's not saying, I just want out of a team because I want the money. I want the targets. I want this, that. Like, he wants to win. That's ultimately really what he wants. He is an actual competitor. So you are going to get an incredibly hungry, aggressive, assertive, because they keep saying, oh, will Davante do this? Will Davante? Yeah, I think Davante's going to do whatever Sean McVay asks him to do. As long as it's within the realm of like what he's physically capable of doing at this point in his career. Yeah, they're going to do it. And he's going to do it. And Sean McVay, and I think there's also the benefit of also bringing in Davante as well is I just think that there's going to be such a maturity and understanding between Stafford, Davante, and McVay. I think there's going to be a deep understanding of kind of like, this is where it's at right now. Like I think there's going to be an understanding of everyone's physical skill sets in this moment of time, what you're going to be expecting from each other. I just think that anytime you can bring maturity, hunger, understanding, depth of experience, veteranship into a locker room and have that combined with still, a floor of still high level play. It's a home run. I mean, you really can't ask for much more than that. Because a lot of times you maybe bring in veteran leadership or maturity and whatnot, but like, yeah, they're just really not at all the same. Or, hey, you can get this great talent, but like, they still got a lot of learning. They still got a lot of growing up. They still got a lot of, all this other stuff. Davante's understanding of football at this point is just deep. And again, when you combine that now with a true veteran in Stafford and now a veteran coach in McVay, I think that really helps balance things out. And now even someone like a Puka Nacua, who's now has a couple years under his belt, he's also still in the process of maturing. I think he's 23 years old and stuff. So, he's still growing, maturing and all of that. And I just think it really rounds out and balances this locker room, both on and off the field, quite frankly, that I'm really excited to see unfold. And yeah, I mean, if you're gonna doubt the Rams going into this season, then you're not paying attention. The biggest question mark, and I just feel obligated to say this anytime we're talking about predictions about the Rams, is really Matthew Stafford, just because of his age and just because you just never know when it's just gonna not be what it was. But I think the Rams are in great shape. But they obviously also have a tight window, right? Because Stafford is not going to be the quarterback for the next 5+ years. I mean, that's pretty much all but a guarantee. So Again, I just think at this point in time, everyone is going to understand the objective. Everyone's going to I can't imagine them not all buying in on winning, right? It's going to be pretty much, I feel like there's going to be a lot of focus on like, this is the year. This is the year, right? Like, and it's just when everyone understands what's at stake, what you're all trying to accomplish in the immediacy of the moment. And again, you have the maturity and the skill set to execute it. It's just hard for me to see anything but success in, under those circumstances. So pretty easy one for me. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Davante Adams? Do you think he is still a difference maker? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.